Welcome everyone, it's Glacier Guy, rocking the Gray Shirt as always. We have a little over-painting table video today. Not doing any painting on the video, but we're just showing off a couple things that we've acquired. A little studio update. And it's been almost a month since my last video, so we're trying to get this one out today. I did do a YouTube short. I keep calling them reels because every once in a while I'll do Instagram reels. And so if you want to see my most current content, most likely going to be on Instagram. But I did a YouTube short about my 20 assault intercessors, and those guys turned out really well. And yeah, but we're gonna talk about a few things we got recently and some things we ordered, and yeah. So got this Horus Heresy box right here, looking really fancy. I do like the box, I like the silver lettering. Excuse me. And my fiance ordered me a Primarch. She ordered me the Alfarius Alpha Legion Primarch, which is awesome, and I love her so much, and she is the best. And let me try to open the box. Not sure. I know I'm going to finish the Atlantean Spears, and then there's a project I'm going to talk about, but I think the Alpha Legion is going to be the next army I paint. I might do a couple World Leader models here and there, but yeah, we'll talk about them. Anyways, so this is how the I've already looked through them, so he's already kind of opened a little bit. So we're gonna clean up a little storage. This is how it kind of comes in the box. Got a various little slip paper, little instructions on how to assemble him, and then it comes with almost all Forge World models seem to come with this little guide on how to like build a resin kit. It's pretty important. Good tips and tricks for putting together some resin models. This is a really small resin model, so I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of work needing to be done. But yeah, so it's got basically the main body's one piece. You got his cape. I'm really happy that the cape's on its separate thing so I can paint it separately. It feels really nice. I feel like the Primarch models, although they have a little bit of flashing on them, I feel like they're done very, very well. I mean, this is the first one I've ever seen, so maybe some of the other casts aren't so good, but I feel like I've looked through the cast on this one, and it looks pretty good. I don't know if the spear is supposed to be... Okay, so the spearhead is supposed to be hollow, so there is some gating I'll have to slice out of here to make it hollow. So that won't be too bad, but yeah. Helmet's looking pretty sweet. And then it comes with both a gaming base and a decorative base. So we have the top part, and it comes with two base sizes. So we have the decorative rock base right here, and that'll have this, which in the art it shows a Space Wolf. I don't know if I'm going to make it a Space Wolf or not, but it does have him like trying to get away, and has the normal base. So it kind of sits in here. This base will sit in here. Well, it's supposed to sit in here. Yep, so this base will sit in here, sort of. Should probably make it to where it'll pop out a little easier. Maybe it's a little spaced apart. So it'll sit in here, and then this base will sit on top of this bigger base. And then so you have a decorative base. It's also, oh, it's a little gating. I was like, it's not flat. Yeah, but you have your little decorative base, and then you have your gaming base. So that'll look pretty nice. So I'm pretty excited to put him together. The spear is a little warped, but typical with resin. Just put in a little hot water, and maybe use a hair dryer, but from a distance. I don't want to be super close. Some of the tanks you want to be a little closer with. All right, but let's put this back in the box. Really happy to get a Primarch. I know when I got my 30K, all my models for my Alpha Legion 30K army, I was like, man, you really need the Primarch if you're going to play Horus Heresy. And she sent me the Primarch. So she's really sweet. She was going to visit this weekend. I took some vacation, but something came up. But she will be here before the end of the month. So I'm excited about that. And in the meantime, I'm just missing her. Hold on. Oh, I don't want you to get all messed up again. Get back in there. I closed it before I put the foam back in. Careful. Okay, put the foam in there. Put the other foam in there. And then we can close it. All right. And put the lid back on. Keep it all nice and safe. All right. So, our Warhammer Plus commemorative model, we were able to order it. I think it was probably the first or second day that I could order. I ordered it, and it showed up. It's funny, it showed up the same day that the Alfarius showed up. So, and in 2 separate boxes, obviously, because they were 2 separate orders. But yeah, so we got the World Eaters Terminator. I don't know when I'm going to put him together, but yeah, I already have a Terminator Lord for my World Eaters, and he has like a combi. What is he? He has a Kami Melta and a Power Sword. So this one will have a Chain Fist and a Kami Bolter. So it's really cool. I really like him. I just don't have any huge need at this exact moment to assemble him or paint him, but yep, we got him. I was at the hobby store a couple weeks ago, and I picked up the Liber Titanicus for Horus Heresy. So this has all the rules for the Titans and the Lords of War. So actually what it has in the beginning, and it tells you like for your Lords of War in like a normal army, so your combined Lords of War and Primarch value can only be this much based upon your army size. So you could theoretically have, I don't know, they don't talk about past 3,500 points. I guess after 3,500 points, it's probably just whatever you and your friends make up. But well, no, it says may not exceed 25% of total army cost. So I guess it's 25%. That makes more sense. But so if you have Alfarius in your army, you probably can't put a Titan in your army. But one thing that I find interesting, so the first part of the army is a lot of Solar Auxiliary Mechanicus type stuff, like a lot of the Mechanicus things. And then the Titans are actually in the back. And I think the Knights are in the back too. Let me see if I can pull them up. Yes, okay. All right, so there's a lot, so yeah, so like in the back, in the dependencies, let me see if I can zoom, can I zoom out? Yeah, okay. So in the back, you have all the different like super heavies, your Archmagos, another Archmagos, HQ options, WS Tech Cannon, yeah, so then we get into the the Warhound Scout Titans. The Warhound Scout Titan in 40k is like 2,000 points. But in 30k, it's 750. Now that more kind of aligns well with this points value. So you would need a 3,000 point army to be able to bring a Warlord Scout Titan. And then 1,500 points for a Reaver Battle Titan, Nemesis 2,000 points, and 3,000 points for a Warlord Battle Titan. And so I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to look at the other the 40k rules for these to see if they're like weaker. I don't think they're weaker, but they maybe they could be. Yeah, so these are the different Titans that you can take, and they look pretty sweet. And they also have the different Knights, so you can play with your Knights in 30k, and your Armigers, your Lancers, your Castigators, all the different cool stuff. So that is inside this book. Picked this up when I was at the hobby store. One thing, so I recently did a Pokemon unboxing a couple weeks ago, and I don't know, people seem to like it a little bit. And so, but my coworker who had gave me the box gave me another box. This one's Sword and Shield Brilliant Stars. So we'll be cracking this open at some point. Maybe not this weekend. I got a lot of models to paint, so I don't really have a lot of room on the painting table. But we'll definitely be cracking this more than likely this month. So if you want to see a Brilliant Stars unboxing, feel free to stay tuned in. And yeah, we'll show all those code cards. And I'll have to look up to see if there's anything cool in here. I really, the last box didn't get any of the super mega expensive hits, but I was able to get some pretty sweet Pikachu art and whatnot. But yeah, so we got Brilliant Stars, and we'll be opening that. As far as things I've been working on, so one of the reasons why I hadn't made any videos in the last few weeks is I had a fitness exam that was coming up, and it was this week. I did it. It was actually a couple days ago. And normally every year when the fitness exam comes around, because it comes around either yearly or bi-yearly for my job, it's a little stressful a couple days before the exam. But this one, for some reason, I've been preparing, and I've been working out in the gym, and I've been doing really good in fitness. I haven't been losing a lot of weight, but I have been getting stronger. I feel good. I slept fine. Everything was good. All my practice tests were really good. I knew I was going to pass. But about 2 weeks before the test, I just got like really bad anxiety and I couldn't really focus on anything. And like aside from just working out, I just like didn't have any motivation or drive to make any videos. I barely did any painting. But this past weekend, or probably the past couple weeks, I was looking at my Space Marine model collection, and I took all of my unpainted Space Marine models that weren't my Atlantean spears, and I put them on my table, and I was like, it'd be really cool if I just had like, and I've been thinking about this for a while, it'd be really cool if I had a Blood Ravens army, because you could, to me, a Blood Ravens army has like a lore reason of, hey, they can take anything because, you know, it's probably a relic that they stole, you know, the whole thieving magpie kind of thing. And I really liked Dawn of War 2, and I was looking at Dawn of War 1, and I needed something to keep my mind off of my upcoming fitness exam, and I just didn't want to do any painting, so I played Dawn of War 1 for a little bit, probably maybe a day or two, and then I found the Dawn of War Unification mod, which is a really cool mod for Soulstorm, and I was playing that, and unfortunately, there's a bug in Soulstorm when it comes to like when you're going through the campaign and you're doing stronghold missions when you're fighting against the different factions to defeat the factions. And I got to the Tau faction base, and I just can't progress past that point. The game crashes every single time, either loading the level. I've tried the mod fix. I've tried the not the mod fix, I've tried the Soulstorm bug fix. That didn't work. I've tried lowering my graphics settings all the way down to the safe mode. That worked for a little bit, but partway through the game, and I think it's probably just like an issue with like the scripted event and maybe Windows 10 and it just being like an older game, it just would crash, and it kind of really bummed me out. But before that happened, I really liked the whole Blood Ravens aesthetic, so I had this model, and this was originally going to be a Howling Griffins paint job. But what I did is I decided, you know, I'm taking my Raptors, my Howling Griffins, and basically any army that was based off the standard Space Marine Codex I had. I was going to use the Space Wolves, but I decided to keep them Space Wolves. I'm just going to take those models, and instead of making those three separate armies, because it was going to be Salamanders, Raptors, and Howling Griffins, I'm just going to make all of them Blood Ravens, because Blood Ravens are, one, a really simple color scheme, easy to knock out really quickly, two, a very striking color scheme, and, you know, it's kind of a fan favorite that you don't see very often anymore since the really depressing launch of Dawn of War 3, which I never finished, mostly just because like the game was it wasn't as fun. Dawn of War 2 was great. Dawn of War 1 is awesome. I really like Dawn of War 1, the whole series. I just wish the Soulstorm bug wouldn't crash out on me. I might try the Apocalypse mod later, because Unification's fun, but I might try to see what Apocalypse is all about. But yeah, so I went with the Blood Ravens, and it's really poignant, because in the Dawn of War series, they do fight the Necrons in Dark Crusade. So I think it works out really well. And I painted this, and yeah, it looks really nice. The only thing is that it's got a lot of battle damage on the shoulders, so I don't have a decal, and I didn't do the Blood Raven symbol, but everything else, you can tell it's a Blood Raven from a distance. So yeah, so that's one of the models I painted last weekend. It was mostly just like, my test was on Tuesday. My anxiety was already really high. I passed the test. I got a really good score, so I don't have to do it again until next year. But my anxiety was super high, and so I barely was able to paint this. Just trying to focus on something that wasn't the test, and so I painted this model. It looks really nice. I really like him. But yeah, so that's some things I've done. What the rest of what I've done is I finished a lot of this today. I'll show you just a couple of them, just because I have them right nearby. I did the. So originally I had done a Zenithal base coat with black, and unfortunately one of the black primers I used, I typically will use, it's like a camo black from Krylon, I think it is. But I used a different black. It was ultra flat black. It should have worked just fine, but that one got a little bit of dusting on some of the models. So on the lower levels, you can see a little bit of pitting and dusting. But what I did, it was all over black, and then I did a Zenithal from above with white. And I was going to hand paint on the turquoise, and so I used Vallejo Game Color turquoise, and I thinned it down, shot it through the airbrush, and I did an overall turquoise, and then which is the same thing I did with the Assault Intercessors. But what I did with the Assault Intercessors instead was I put the Chthonian green shade, or Coelia? I can't pronounce it. I put the green shade. It's like an aqua green, like a seafoam green. I put this on the model with the airbrush last time, and I didn't really like the way it worked. So what I did with this is I did an overall brush with this, just a hand brush, soak the whole thing in it, essentially, and then I went back over it with, I airbrushed Temple Guard Blue over from a high point. So the tops are all Temple Guard Blue, but the underside is actually still all that shaded color. So it's hard to tell without any contrasting colors. But yeah, so I did the base coats for, what was it? We got 6 Blade Guard. So I base coated 6 Blade Guard. We have 6 of these Infiltrator, or what is it? Is it? No. Interceptors? I forget. Is these Interceptors or Infiltrators? No, these are, I think these are Interceptors. I got 6 of the Plasma Interceptors. And then I have 3 of the just regular Bolt Storm Aggressors, and a little more pronounced color gradient on these ones. And it goes from the turquoise up to Temple Guard Blue. And then I did add a very light dry brush of Skink Blue on top of it. So I think that came out pretty well. I did do an overall red on Mephiston. And I know this black cloak is this back part of the cloak is supposed to be black, but I just shot it all with red, and I think it's going to look pretty good. It's the first time ever painting Mephiston as the Codex color scheme, so I think this will be a fun experiment. And I also did the Tech Priest in the red, and this one's going to be, this one's going to look a little bit more closer to the Blood Angels in the armor, where I'm going to darken it down a lot. Or the, not Blood Angels, Blood Ravens. And then, a couple things I did this morning is my 2 Librarian, my 2 Atlantean Spears Librarian options. I wanted to keep it super classic. I wanted to go with the dark Regal Blue, so I actually went with Vallejo Imperial Blue. And then I used Drakenhof Nightshade over top of it. I will be lightening it back up with the Imperial Blue. I'll do some layers on this instead of using the airbrush, because it's only in like the blue armor is not nearly as exposed. This shoulder pad will be turquoise. I'm going to probably use Hotek green on this one, or regular turquoise, either way. And then we'll highlight this up to Temple Guard Blue. And then I'll have to look at other reference colors for some of the other stuff. But yeah, we got our 2 HQ units for our Atlantean Spears, because Atlantean Spears lore-wise have a lot of librarians, just like our little thieving magpie guys. So I'm going to be following the Ultramarine rules, because in the Forge world they recommend Ultramarines for these. So the idea is all of the characters that I have for both the Salamanders, the Raptors, and I know unfortunately Raptors aren't a supported character anymore, so Lysilodon is like Legends, but I still have 2. I have a Raptors Librarian that I already painted and I didn't want to repaint, and I have my custom Raptors Chapter Master. So I'm going to leave those as is. They're the nice little green camo scheme, but I also have the Salamanders that I'm going to paint them just like I'm doing with Mephiston. They're going to be the original color scheme for Salamanders, the kind of the flames and the green and everything. And then I have some Ultramarine characters. Those are going to be the classic Ultramarine color scheme. But everything else that's not a character specific for a different chapter will be Blood Ravens. And one of the things I told myself was, if I get over a 90 on my fitness test, which I did get over 90. So if I got over a 90, I was going to order Gabriel Angelos, and so I ordered him. And actually, it looks like he's going to be here tomorrow, so that will be really nice. But the main focus for probably the rest of the time off, I have a couple other Blood Ravens that are primed, just because I wasn't sure which one I wanted to use in my test model, but I ended up using this. What is this? He was a special event model they did last year, and if you spent, I think it was like $250. Was it $250 or was it $300? Somewhere it might have been just above $300. You got one of these for every X amount of dollars you spent, and I had bought a whole bunch of different armies back then, and so I ended up actually getting 3 of these. But unfortunately, two of them fell, and I can't remember if I dropped them. I'm going to say that I dropped them. I don't want to blame my cats, but they got pretty severely damaged, and so I had one left that wasn't damaged, and so this one is my my one Blood Ravens one, and he looks really good. It's really fitting with the Necrons, so I'm really happy about him. What will I use him for? I don't even know. I don't even know if you can take a lieutenant with a plasma pistol and a chainsword. He's supposed to just be like a sergeant model, like an assault intercessor or something. Or I might be able to just take him as a regular sergeant. Let me, 1 second. I went and grabbed the Space Marine rulebook, and so for a Primaris lieutenant, because he's going to be Ultramarines, they don't have an option for a plasma pistol. Now, if this model was a Dark Angels character, you can swap his bolt pistol out with a plasma pistol. But as for right now, it doesn't look like I can take. Yeah, it doesn't look like I can take a plasma pistol. Because you'll see the model's bolt pistol and auto bolt can be replaced with the following: a bolt pistol and a power sword. Like, he doesn't even have a power sword, doesn't even have a chain sword. So realistically, I know he was supposed to be just like a sergeant model when he was released, and he had his own little rules, but they never released like a separate like 40K data sheet outside of what was in his box. He never had any points cost or anything. But I think I can take him either just as kind of like just have him on the shelf, or I think, hold on, let's see. If an Intercessor Sergeant is not equipped with an Astartes Chainsword, Power Sword, Thunder Fist, you replace one of the following. So, okay, so you can. Okay, so you could, yeah, I can just have him like as an Intercessor Sergeant. I already have a Sergeant in all my Intercessor squads, but I could swap him out if I want to. I think he's mostly just going to be like a nice little showcase model that I have just sitting on my table or sitting on my shelf. But you could take him as an Intercessor squad, and I think you could also take him as an Assault Intercessor Sergeant. So if you really wanted to. He does have a slightly larger decorative base, so there's that. It would be cool if you could take him as like a Primaris. What are they? So you have company agents, Primaris agents, but that would have to have like a banner. You get your Blade Guard agent, your veteran. Who is it? Okay, so you could like see company veterans, but company veterans you wouldn't use them as Primaris. They don't have Primaris company veterans, but would be interesting. You could probably do it that way. Let's see. You could take one weapon from the pistol list and one weapon from the melee list. Any model may have the bolt pistol replaced with the following. Yeah, any model have the bolt gun replaced with it. Yeah, so you could take him as a company veteran, like a company veteran sergeant, but then you would need another model to go with him. Like if I had a spare just like model, which I might have just like a spare regular model lying around. So I could probably take him as a company veteran, but he wouldn't be Primaris. He would just be regular, which is fine, but I really wish they had, like, Space Wolves have the Wolf Guard, where I don't know if it still works this way, but you can take just like a single Space Wolf character or model as like some sort of a standalone lone wolf character. But anyways, yeah, so that is pretty much what we have going on. I'm going to be working on getting these lovely lads painted up. I was playing some Fallout because, once again, the Dawn of War bug for the unification mod in the campaign really just kind of bugged me, and I uninstalled everything because I was just like, well, I don't want to play just skirmish, and I don't want to play multiplayer. I just wanted to beat the campaign. It's kind of a bummer on that one, but I really do like playing as the Imperial Guard in Dawn of War. There's a rumor that there's a new RTS coming out, but it probably won't come out until like late next year or 2024. And it's supposed to be like a large format RTS. I hope it's really close to Dawn of War 1 in like big format battles. That would be really cool. Like if you took like a Command and Conquer, it's not Total War, which that would also be cool. But Total War is like a slightly different like idea, because like in Total War you can actually just theoretically, if you build your forces well, you can beat the entire game. Not the entire game, but you can play a very significant large amount of the game without actually playing a battle. But I prefer like the whole base build, send units out kind of thing that Dawn of War had. So either way, yeah. So we're gonna be working. I'm not sure how much more painting I'm gonna do today, but definitely tomorrow I'm gonna get quite a lot of painting done. My plan is to just focus on the 6 Blade Guard veterans first. And we're gonna do what we did with the Assault Intercessors. We're gonna do all the blacks, and then we're gonna do so a lot of it's black, then we're gonna do probably the silvers, and then there's a lot of gold on the Blade Guard veterans. We'll do that, and then we'll clean those up, and yeah. So I think it's gonna look pretty cool for the Blade Guard veterans, and after that, after the Blade Guard veterans, we'll probably do the Boltstorm aggressors, just because there's only 3 of them, and then we'll do the jump pack guys with the plasma glow, and that'll be pretty sweet. And then after that, it's just characters. Then we got I think I'll probably save the Redemptor Dreadnought and the Impulsor for last, just because they're more vehicles. But yeah, then we have the 2 librarians that we're gonna work on. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't decided exactly what order I'm going to do them in. One model that I am dreading, though, is this guy, the Apothecary. I've already primed him in white. I'm probably going to do... I saw something where somebody took, like, I think it was like bone white, something kind of like a dead white afterwards, just like this, because this is airbrush dead white, but I might take a dead white game color. I don't really like any of the GW whites, but the Vallejo whites work pretty decently. And, or maybe I'll do an off-white. No, I don't like the off-white. Actually, well, off-white's not terrible. But I'll do a white, and then they did a diluted brown wash to kind of knock it down to ivory, and then they highlighted white over top of that, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing for this gentleman here, just to give him some more depth. And I don't really want to pin wash him, but I'm probably going to do that, and then be very careful with like all the black, because there's a lot of black tubing and stuff. Oh, one thing I've decided for the cloaks, typically you would do these kind of cloaks, maybe not on this guy, but on the Blade Guard veterans, typically you would do the cloaks in a cream color. But I really like how Mephiston Red contrasts against this teal really, really well. It kind of pops a lot on the Leviathan Dreadnought that I have, because it's got little speckles of red on it. And I think I'm gonna do the cloaks in Mephiston Red, just kind of a harken back towards the heraldry of them being a Blood Angel successor chapter. And I think on the cloaks will take red very well. I thought about doing a cream, like a Raghearth Flesh, and kind of like building it up, but I didn't really want to go with a cream. I really think a red cloak will look really well. But everything else is more than likely going to be black. Like even the sword scabbard is probably going to stay black. Maybe gold on the bottom of the sword scabbard, and maybe on these little spots here. But I like keeping the accessories like a black leather. So that's what we're going to be doing. That's been pretty much it. Thanks for listening to my rant. I'm gonna go. Hope you guys enjoyed yourself. If you want to support the channel, feel free to like, subscribe, comment below. But or if you want to make me feel better and you haven't already ordered my book, there's a link in the description below to get my book. It is a science fiction novel. You can get it in paperback or ebook on Kindle. Kindle is probably the cheapest. I think it's like $2.99. The paperback does cost more, mostly just because you have to print the paperback. It's set up print to demand, and I get a little bit more for the paperback, but if any book sales would be great. I haven't sold any in a while, which is whatever, but I haven't really been pushing it either. But if you want to see my work when it's done first, then just follow my Instagram, and you'll be able to see the models pretty much as soon as I finish painting them. I mostly put them on Instagram. But aside from that, I've been Glacier Guy, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye.